Spanish Ruby Panda here, and it's finally happening. No April Fool's jokes, we're making a tier list. Now, I'm not a huge fan of all the general tier lists out there, but I know it's the preferred format, so that's what we're going to be trying to create. I want to give a huge shout out to 3DCat for his amazing inputs on this list. I may in the future do another video to fully separate the game modes there, as I believe that is ultimately the correct way to go. This will also most likely be a 6-part series, where we add in each tendency one by one. Note that this is not because all sinners within a tendency are directly comparable to each other, but rather to not throw out a 2-hour video because trust me, I will talk about some sinners in excruciating detail. I want to note however that I still don't have experience with the entire cast of the game, so there may be certain sinners which aren't completely accurately assessed. I'll also try and put timestamps in the description of every video so you can quickly jump to a specific sinner you want to hear about. Other than that, this video is mainly going to function as an introduction and a defense to the ranking system and the specific tiers we're going to be working with. Now first things first, if you really love a sinner and want to use them, do it, use them. Your enjoyment comes way before anything this tier list says. Alright, let's start off with the basis by which a sinner will be ranked. Currently there are 3 different aspects of endgame in Path to Nowhere. We have Bargain Frontline, where burst damage is awarded, which typically look towards bringing at least 1 wave clearer and 1 boss killer here, and then supplying them with the support they need either in the form of Core Break or Amp. This game mode is the one I look to the most, as this is your main source of hypercubes. Ensuring stable 240k across the board is of utmost importance. I also want to stress that even though certain sinners are used in scoring 260k or even 270k, this does not necessarily make the meta in the context of the tier list, since no additional rewards have been gained and those compositions usually take much longer to establish and therefore will effectively lose out on rewards. Basically, getting at least 240k every week is better than getting 260k some weeks and 180k other weeks. Similar arguments present themselves for ROD, though here consistent wave clear is paramount and a boss killer is slightly secondary. What this means is that we're looking at meta through the lens of 2 interpretations. We have the most effective strategy available, and we have the most efficient tactic available. Some may argue we shouldn't look at efficiency, but building sinners in Path to Nowhere can be quite expensive, meaning sinners who peak early on are incredibly useful and an amazing return of investment, not only for their inherent value, but any resource you're not pouring into them can be poured into another high-costing sinner that outright demands it, which then turns into an effective increase as well. We want to hit maximum BFL score as early as possible. Additionally, we won't just look at how a sinner performs in a vacuum, but how that sinner fits into the meta environment. For a practical example of why this is, consider the repercussions of the tier list if we were to rate Demolia's personal contribution in BFL and RD, instead of her contribution through the context of McQueen. Which leads us naturally into the actual tiers we have available. We have the farm girls. These girls are by no means perfect, but they may just be perfect for you. This is as close as we'll get to me calling a sinner bad. Anything that goes here either doesn't bring enough to the table to justify building, or is simply outclassed by an adversary across the board. Again, if you really like them, go for it. Damsels. Damsels are a bit weird. You either have at least somewhat useful unique aspect to your kit, which no other sinner can contest you on, or you shine in one non-BFL game mode, and it's mediocre or worse everywhere else. Princesses. Princesses are sinners you may opt to use in meta strategies while you're still missing all the optimal pieces. Alternatively, they're simply sinners who perform extremely well in the game modes outside of BFL. Queens. Queens can be hard to pinpoint. They either complement a goddess really well, or they provide an alternative strategy that is still very strong. However, this reliance on another sinner can also be a weakness, and if not fulfilled, can make her a worse option than a princess. Goddess, these girls either completely destroy BFL, or are simply just never bad. Not much else to say here. Finally, I want to end on the note that this list doesn't purely show who's better than X or Y. There are going to be certain damsels you might still want to build later on, for that one specific game mode they shine in. This is simply a byproduct of these general tier lists. There are these kinds of concessions and limitations to them,